What's going on, guys? We are back once again, and we're going to be doing another movie review today. Another one off the list that I was wanting to watch. We are finally going to be talking about Vanquish, a brand new action thriller movie starring Ruby Rose and Morgan Freeman. Now, if you guys have seen this movie, let me know what you guys thought about it. If you haven't, go check it out and let me know what your thoughts were about when you come back in the comments down below. Overall, this movie was interesting, to say the least. Where the entirety of this movie went was not really predictable, but it was interesting because we have where Morgan Freeman, who plays as a former chief commissioner, Damien, who was shot in the line of duty, who has been in a wheelchair for a very long time. His caregiver that Ruby Rose plays, Victoria, she is a ex-former assassin that ran drugs for the Russian mafia and among many other groups. One night where Damien is trying to just have a normal night, Victoria's coming over with her daughter, later finds out that she has some type of disease. Don't know if it's cancer. Do not know what it is, but things go bad to where a lot of his ones on his parole that are cops, that are dirty cops, that are trying to run money, are unable to do so. No one's able to do it, so he turns to Victoria for her help in exchange, where he will give all his resources and money that he can provide to help her and her daughter just for one night of help. And we go on this adventure where you try to figure out exactly what she did, because it does get revealed that she has very special skills, that her brother was murdered, that she does not want to go back to her old ways. And throughout the entirety of the movie, you start seeing that she, knew someone that, speaks German, because she apparently did speak a lot of languages in this film. She spoke, of course, English, German, French, and she did use her actual accent in this film. And what was very interesting, I will say, about this is the way that the story was fine, but the way they executed it, I think, was the biggest problem. Because we did have where she was basically running money for Morgan Freeman's character to return it to him for whatever reason, until we find out later on in the film. And he doesn't give too much away, other than, of course, his associates that are also dirty cops that are, working for him. They're trying to get more money, but someone that was finding out about him is wanting to turn him in. The FBI gets involved and all these other things, and Morgan Freeman's character having to constantly watch and let Ruby Rose's character know where she's got to go and do this, do that, with all these different ones that find out, okay, so she's back in the game, now we can kill her, since I guess she, literally vanished, and then she became this man's caregiver, and then now that she has no choice but to get back in the game, so to speak, to not only save her daughter, because Morgan Freeman's character almost holds her daughter against her will without her really realizing it. But at the same time, you really think that he's a prick in this film, because Morgan Freeman does come across as a prick. He really does. But in the very end of the film, you really realize that everything he does was actually to make things right, as well as to save Victoria and her daughter, which was very admirable. Now again, this is your typical, if you've seen like a Steven Seagal movie, or Scott Adkins, or Jean-Claude Van Damme, or anything of that like that, this is pretty much your typical movie like that. It's your very action, thriller, drama, crime solver type of movie. Now again, this movie does have problems. I will say this. Now again, it wasn't the acting. Everybody's going to say, oh, Ruby Rose sucks or something. Dude, I'm going to tell you this right now. I was actually shocked that Morgan Freeman agreed to this film, because again, someone like Morgan Freeman, he ain't gonna do. I do not think he's gonna be doing a film out of, to be honest, giggles. I really don't think he's gonna do that. This man has been in the industry for a very long time. He's a legend, and if he wanted to work with Ruby Rose, or if he didn't have a problem with it, then again, I don't think that was a problem. Now again, story was not that bad either. Again, the way they executed it, the camera angles, I will say in this, the main issues I have with this film, the camera angles, the focus lens on this movie, the locations on this film, they were all absolutely horrible. I do not know who they got to have these different locations, but obviously they did not know what they were doing. They had I think one beautiful location, and that was at the home that Morgan Freeman's character stayed in. That was actually a very beautiful home, but other than that, it looked absolutely horrible. The way that they had the camera angles with, Victoria's character, Ruby Rose's character riding the bike, which, was like, I would say a lot of throwback to her playing Batwoman, which was, interesting but kind of predictable. But it was still very enjoyable. And then they really screwed up on some of the angles. It wasn't fast enough. And then they weren't quick enough on some of the shooting angles, and they didn't give much of that away. And then some of the locations that they gave us throughout the entire film was mainly on the road, and again, the locations just looked normal. It didn't look like there was anything very spectacular about them. Like, they didn't look unique to wherever they shot this at. Again, it just did not look like whoever they got to go, okay, let's shoot at this location for this film. Just didn't seem like a lot of thought ran into it. And also at some of the places where she was picking up at, like there's one where she's picking it up at a German club, and then at a graveyard, and then there was another one at almost like a stadium, and then there was another one at some random house, and then there was another one at a weird, almost like a festive / Mardi Gras Halloween type of warehouse. So again, I just think it was very lazy for some of the locations, as well as some of the camera angles. You could tell some of it was not focused. You could tell that some of it was not, I think, properly aligned. Now again, I did not go to school for any of this. I did not I don't know, oh, it's got to be this angle or this angle, but I don't think it can be that hard to get a very beautiful angle to where it's going to mess up. So again, it does show in this film that this film does have problems. But at the end of the day, if you're a fan of either of these two actors, or if you're just wanting to see a very intense drama, thriller, action film, then check this movie out and give it a chance. But also let me know what you guys thought about this down in the comments down below. If you guys are new to the channel, ask about subscribing, leave your options below as normal. Leave a big fat like on the video. I greatly appreciate it. It helps get the algorithm. Also, click the notification bell so you guys are notified every time I upload. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Hope you guys watched the movie or enjoyed the movie. What were your thoughts? Let's have a great conversation in the comments down below. And as always, see you guys on the next one.